Hello and welcome to Joy in Our Town. I'm Sherry Duckworth, and joining me today is Ms. Karla Weaver. She is a program manager with the North Central Texas Council of Governments. Thank you for being with us today, Karla.
Thank you for having me.
It's always nice to have you on the show, and today we're going to talk about pedestrian safety.
Yes.
For us North Texans who are accustomed to being in our vehicles and driving everywhere, we have got to get used to pedestrians, especially with all the new developments that we have where there's a lot of people walking and biking. So this is really good.
Yeah.
We're glad you're here to talk about it today because this is kind of a new challenge for us.
It is.
Let's talk a little bit about your campaign. Tell us about the new campaign that you all have begun.
Sure. So we have begun a new campaign called Out Texans, Bike, Walk, and Drive Safely. So it's going to be a regional campaign for all 12 counties and all of our cities. And we're going to talk about the rights and responsibilities of all road users. And we want to provide a variety of outreach methods. There'll be community events and lots of safety tips and lots of media kind of tied to this to get the word out about let's be safe, let's take care of each other and look out for each other out there on the road.
Now, I don't like to say the word problem, but we do have a lot more of growth when it comes to people who are living in these developments where they can bike and walk. So knowing that, how can we be more aware, and how big of an issue is this becoming for us to all coexist?
Yes. Well, you know, we have 6.5 million people in the region, and we know that we think we'll be close to 10 million in the next 20 years. So lots of folks moving into the region, lots of people have come here with very diverse backgrounds. And sad to say, there is a problem. The Federal Highway Administration has a list of the top cities in the country that have the highest pedestrian fatality rates. 5 of them are in the state of Texas, and Dallas and Fort Worth are both on the list. In the past 5 years, there have been over 8,000 crashes with bicyclists and pedestrians and over 500 deaths.
Oh my goodness.
So I don't think these are numbers people are aware of, and we're like, we've got to do something to make people aware and try to change this.
I think we need to say that again. So it's 8,000 over 8,000 accidents. Crashes.
And then over 500 fatalities.
And this is people on bikes.
Bikes and pedestrians. Yes, and you have to have a pretty significant incident or crash to be reported. It has to be over $1,000 of damage or a hospital visit. So there's hundreds unreported, we're sure of.
So obviously awareness has to be brought to this issue.
Exactly.
And we have to do something about it. So how did all of this get started?
The North Central Texas Council of Governments is overseen by the Regional Transportation Council, which is a body of elected officials. About 2 years ago, they awarded close to $700,000 to do a large safety outreach campaign. The city of Dallas was really interested in it, and Fort Worth, and they all said, let's come together, share resources, and then try to get the word out there with safety messaging to our communities.
So what is the best way to pick your target and to get that message out there? How are you all doing that? What are the avenues that you're using?
Sure. We're really trying to do a 3-pronged approach. We're reaching out to motorists, we're reaching out to pedestrians, and we're reaching out to cyclists, because all 3 of them need to be aware of the correct way to interact with each other. Pedestrians need to cross at crosswalks. Cyclists need to bike with traffic. Motorists need to be aware of bikes on the street. We're also strongly targeting Hispanic populations, the elderly, children, and university students all throughout the Metroplex.
Okay, I understand the university students for sure, especially because, you know, they're going to be walking to classes and, you know, commuting in the least expensive way possible.
Exactly.
So that's really good. And I mean, we all, I think, are guilty of tunnel vision. We're only thinking about where we're going and how quickly we need to get there, and more than likely we're running late. So paying attention to our surroundings isn't always something that we're thinking about.
Very true.
So it's good that you guys are really bringing attention to this for all of us. So talk to us about those who you're partnering with and how they became involved and how they're helping bring awareness.
We have a committee that's been formed of several cities throughout the Metroplex. So we've got Fort Worth and Dallas, Arlington, we've got Denton, Grapevine, Richardson, North Richland Hills, Dart and the T have also been involved. I may forget a few, and I hope I don't, but they've given us a lot of input of what they're seeing in their communities. Plano is different than Denton, is different than Arlington in sort of what the feedback they're getting from motorists or from bicyclists or even pedestrian issues. So they've all provided their ideas, their thoughts, and then they're really going to help us get the campaign out even farther. Oh, and one I forgot was Hunt County, which is a very rural part of our region, but they have their issues and concerns as well. So it's been great getting all these different ideas.
I think it's interesting that you bring up a rural county because in my head I'm thinking of the hustle and bustle of the city, you know, like Plano. That makes sense to me. What are some issues that you're seeing out in the country that you have seen?
Sure. In more rural communities, they may have concentrated downtowns, historic courthouse squares, and so pedestrian issues are a concern there. That's where you see high focuses of incidences or crashes. And then they're seeing on these farm-to-market, TxDOT roads, you might have people wanting to bike on some of those wide shoulders, and just making motorists aware of, you know, look out for these people. They're your neighbors. We're all North Texans. This could be your child's teacher. This could be your dentist. It's not just an outlier of just this one-off guy that you can't relate to.
Right, right. I like that you said that this is your neighbor. This is somebody that you do life with. They're in your community. You know, this could be you. So we have to be aware of that. What are some other things that we want people to know? What are some good safety tips that you want to bring awareness to?
Well, I brought a cheat sheet for that because there's quite a few. The big one I already mentioned about, you know, these are your neighbors. We're all North Texans. Looking out for each other when you're walking or biking or driving. We're all pedestrians at some point, even if it's just getting out of your car and walking into the store.
True.
Or taking a walk in your neighborhood. We also want to make motorists aware that bicycles have a legal right to be in the road. A lot of times there's frustration that, oh, the bicyclist should be over on the sidewalk. That's not actually the state law, and it's not a requirement. And so now, of course, a bicyclist needs to be as far right over as possible, like the slow-moving vehicle is. And then we're encouraging motorists to pass safely, at least 3 foot. If you can go to another lane, that's great. And just be aware that, you know, they're going somewhere just a little bit slower than you are.
That bicyclist has every right to be on the road as much as our vehicle does, and I think we need to make sure people hear that.
Yep, exactly. And then on the flip side, bicyclists need to make sure they're obeying all the traffic laws.
Yes.
So sometimes bicyclists blow through the stop signs or blow through the red lights, and we all rode bikes as kids and didn't think about traffic laws, but when you're on the road, you have to operate like a motor vehicle and stop when it says stop and be mindful of folks around you.
That's good. Let's all be considerate of others, right?
Exactly. That's what really the whole focus is that pedestrians need to go in crosswalks. The #1 cause of pedestrian fatalities, they're not in the crosswalks. It's people darting across or walking along facilities that maybe aren't well lit. We're working with cities on some of the design and engineering of certain intersections or blocks that need to be shorter so that you don't want to dart across and there's a safe place for you to get across the street. Most pedestrian fatalities happen at night, so people need to know to wear bright colors. They need to know to be seen. Reflective gear, lights. By state law, a bike at night has to have a white light on the front and a red light on the back. And I don't know a lot of people know that. So we've got lights available. We're giving them out to communities, rec centers, through your park systems. Cities are really helping to get the right infrastructure out there to make people safer.
So at night, it is the law for a bike to have a white light on the front and a red light in the back, and you are providing those at no cost to the community. Correct. So they can contact their local rec center and see if they're participating.
Correct. Their bike planners there will know about this, and we've got resources to help provide that for folks because it's important. We went out to a back-to-school event, and we gave out 5,000 lights to tons of families in the Dallas County area, and all of the families were like, oh, our kids bike all the time, and we don't have lights. And we're like, here you go. And you can put it on your backpack too when you're walking, and use it in a lot of different ways just to make sure that people see you.
That's smart. I like that. That's good. What are some other things that we need to know?
One of the neat things I'll mention is we've been working with school districts and we've been working with teachers, and we had a teacher focus group because we want to get this education into schools. We know a lot of times parents have so many things going on and they may or may not think to teach their kids some of these basics. So we're working with the standardized testing kind of blocks of information that PE teachers can give or health classes. And we've got great input from Fort Worth ISD and Richardson ISD and Denton ISD and Arlington to kind of make sure it works for teachers. It's easy. They can grab it. They can go. And it'll be part of the curriculum when you're like in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, when kids are out there maybe walking or biking to school by themselves.
Because there's a lot of kids that do that. You know, they have to walk themselves to school or ride their bike to school.
Yes, yes.
You know, and it's like you said earlier, when we're kids, we don't think about the traffic laws. You know, or in the evenings, if we're going to extracurricular activities, we're not thinking about, you know, if I have a light or not.
Yeah.
You know, so they have to learn this somewhere.
Exactly. It's really important. And then the other big thing the campaign will do is we're focused on all of the new bike infrastructure that's coming up in the region. So 5 years ago, we had less than 10 cities that had a bike lane or a share row. And now we have over 35 cities that have been planning for this new infrastructure to go in. Motorists don't know what it means, and some cyclists aren't sure how to use it. So we want to do a lot of education. We're going to create videos, a lot of stuff on our website, LookoutTexans.org, where people can see, okay, as a motorist, how do I interact with this share row or this bike lane, or where are they going, and how can I be prepared to react to that? I think that's important.
From your perspective, when did you all start to see this shift where there was more people biking, more people walking places?
I would say I've been with the Council of Governments since 2006. And I think it's about in 2012. The city of Dallas, our largest city in the Metroplex, we funded an initiative for them to develop an updated bike plan, which they hadn't had since 1985. And so through that initiative, they developed a huge network of on-street bike lanes, trails, how they all interact. And then the city of Fort Worth was coming along at the same time. So when you get the two biggest cities, everybody starts jumping on board because people... trails, bike facilities, it's a huge draw for real estate, for where people want to live. They want access to activities. We're about choice. So you can take your car, you should be able to bike, you should be able to walk. They should all be safe and easily accessible to wherever you want to go.
I think it really helps put into perspective why this has been an issue and why we struggle so much with it. I mean, you said from 85 to 2012, it wasn't looked at. That's a long period of time where this isn't something that was even an issue or considered, really.
Exactly.
And so it's going to take time for everyone to kind of shift mindsets again, I think.
Yep.
But that's why it's great that you're bringing this awareness, because we really need this.
Yes, it's you know, we're hoping through all of the media outreach that we're going to do, there's going to be billboards, there's going to be transit on buses and light rail. You're going to see the messages. We're going to have 21 safety tips, 7 for pedestrians, 7 for bicyclists, and 7 for motorists. So you might see tip 16 over here, tip 4 over here, and you're like, I need to see all the rest. So we're hoping people will go to the website or be seeing these on, there'll be radio ads, there'll be print material with the Dallas Morning News and the Star Telegram, and just and then through the school communication as well. We're hoping to hit people in a lot of different ways.
So you're just really flooding the community with this information
Yes.
in all aspects, in every way you possibly can.
Exactly. It starts this fall, and then all of 2016. May is Bike to Work Month. There's Bike to Work Day. There'll be a huge push in April and May in the springtime. Schools tell us they teach a lot of their outdoor safety stuff in April, so we'll be ready for that. And then next fall, the month of October, is Walk to School Month, and bus safety, and a lot of activities tied to our schools. So we're focused on that as well.
So in order to get into the school district, I mean, are you looking at the larger school districts? Are you looking at any smaller ones? Are you going in and talking to the administrators to get into the schools? Like, how does that work for you all?
That's a great question. There are 127 school districts in the Metroplex.
It's a lot of school districts.
And, you know, one school district can be in 5 cities, and one city can have 6 school districts in it, and nobody talks to each other. So what we've done is we're hearing over and over from our teachers, you've got to work with the communications departments. They push the message out to all of the campuses of the ISDs. You need to work with curriculum directors and get the blessings there. So we've, at all aspects, we're looking at big, small, urban, suburban, and rural, because all communities have sort of different issues, and so we've got programs that'll be going out, and we're working with our elected officials to also partner with superintendents and school board presidents to get the message together. We actually have a meeting next week with our elected officials and school board presidents to launch a brand new program about this coordination with schools.
That's fantastic. Karla, I'm so glad you're here today so that our viewers are aware as well. And if they'd like more information, they can visit the website, LookoutTexas.org. And thank you for being here, and thank you all for watching us here at Joy in Our Town.
Hey, Hard, what's this?
That's my resignation.